Good morning, everybody. Welcome to session 3 of the Healing Circle for Rebuilt. This is awesome to have you all here. Today, we're going to be talking about... We have a technical issue. Okay, we got this. We've got this. All right. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about old beliefs. Now, what analogy I use to help people through these sessions is the thought of imagine an old house that needs a renovation, and we're ripping the things up that no longer serve us. We're ripping things up that trip us up, keep us stuck. And so I talk about the stone process a lot. It's one of the frameworks that I use to help people rebuild. So I'm just going to quickly go through it again. So when I'm talking you through this, you understand I've gone through it in session 1 and session 2. But if you're just jumped onto this one, I'll just give you a quick recap. So it's basically, I want you to imagine that the house needs a reno. There are things that are broken and there's things that we need to remove. So for example, let's say the floorboards, we need to rip them up because they're dangerous. They no longer serve us. They're a hazard. So it's like we rip something out and we put something new in. So the stone process is ripping old stones out and putting new ones in. So an old stone is a belief that no longer serves us. It's a belief that's keeping us stuck. It's a belief that's not, there's no progress, there's no growth. And we're replacing it with something that is positive in our life, that is will bring change, it will bring growth, it'll take us from just surviving into thriving. So I work a lot on taking away what's not working and replacing it with something that does, that creates different behaviors, different actions, different choices. Okay, so I just wanted to lay that down before we move on to the slides. But welcome everybody. If you haven't been here before, there are 2 sessions previous to this one. This is session number 3 of our Healing Circle. Thank you for being here. If you're watching the replay, thank you for jumping on for the replay. And my name is Dawn Williams. I am the founder of the Rebuilt Movement. My goal in life is to help people rebuild after something terrible has happened, hard seasons, relationship breakups, abuse, career breakdowns, you name it, whatever's created damage in your life. I use certain frameworks to help you rebuild your life again. And so this is part of it. This Healing Circle this is a completely free sessions, because I just wanted to make sure that people have access to information that will help them heal and help them grow. Okay. If you've got any comments, leave them, and I always respond to the comments. All right, let's get this going here. So what we're working on today is breaking old beliefs. This is one of my most favorite topics. And again, you can see naming the lie and choosing the truth. That's what we're working on today. So old beliefs that carry the lies attached to them, and we're going to start to exchange them for choosing the truth. So basically the stone process I talked about earlier is we're exchanging a lie that we believe that is keeping us stuck and keeping us unfulfilled in life, and we're bringing it something that will a truth that will bring life to us, will bring direction, will bring healing and recovery. Okay. So the Rebuilt Woman, this is obviously a seven-week healing circle. I restore people back to their original condition. We go live every Monday, and this will be shared should be in the Facebook group. As I said, this is session number 3, and we're working on B. So we've already done recognize, we've already done establishing safety, and now we're working on old beliefs. If you've missed the previous 2, just go back to the previous 2, and then this will make more sense. Okay, so what we're working on today. So what break Old Beliefs asks. So B is for breaking beliefs. This stage asks her to going into a lie underneath the pattern, the belief formed in a hard season that quietly shaped how she sees herself, love, worth, or safety. Old beliefs were often formed for protection. They made sense once. They do not serve her anymore. Naming the belief out loud is the first step to being free from its grip. Okay, so when I went and did the first session, which is radical acceptance, one of the things I ask everybody to do is radically accept their circumstances. I'm not saying the circumstances are right, or I'm not saying that they're good. I'm just saying we need to look at them, and you need to get radically honest with yourself and accept the circumstances. I'm not asking you to accept behaviors. That's not what I'm saying. I'm asking you to just go, okay, I'm unhappy. There is something wrong in my life. I'm not happy. First of all, we just need to accept actually what it is that's going on with you. That's what I ask you to do. And then the second step is, am I safe? Is this environment safe for me? If it's not, okay, we need to get you into a safe place, whatever that looks like as an individual. And then this is about looking at what are you believing in order to keep you stuck in that place? Because what will happen is when we have patterns, we end up creating the same behaviors, we're getting the same results, and people get to the point where they're very unhappy. They don't know how to break that cycle. So this is some of the first three phases of breaking the cycle. Is 1, recognize where you're at. 2, establish your safety. 3, this is the big one, is understanding the beliefs that are holding you there. Some of the beliefs keeping you stuck were never true. They were just repeated enough to feel true. I'll give you an example of this. In a previous relationship, I was very stuck in it, and very sad and very unhappy, but I just was stuck there. And one of the core beliefs that I had, which was a lie that I needed to change for a truth, was the stuck point for me. The lie that I believed is that things would get better. Things would get better if I just hung in there. If I just hung in there, just accepted the situation and just believed that it would get better. Now, that in itself is an old belief that was keeping me stuck. Why? Because the truth of the matter is that in order for something to change and get better, there has to be action. There has to be evidence that things are going to get better. There has to be different choices. There has to be change. But if I'm just believing, oh, things are just going to get better with no action, I'm still held by this belief that is keeping me stuck. So I take away that belief, and the truth should be, in order for things to get better, there has to be action and there has to be evidence. So I had to change the old belief for a new belief. So my old belief was things will just get better. And I had to change it to, in order for things to get better, I need to see action. I need to see change. I need to see a willingness to make a difference, to work at something to make the situation better. And so that is an example of what keeps you stuck. And that was a pattern and a cycle that I was in for years. So why it matters, okay? Why this matters. Identifying the limiting belief formed in hard seasons and tracing them back to where they begin, all right? So the lie versus the truth. So the myth is, if I believed this for so long, it must be true. Okay, so I did. So my example was, I believed that things would just get better. And I believed that for a long time. And I thought that that would be the truth. But the truth is, the belief age doesn't make it accurate. It makes it familiar. Okay, I'm going to say that again. A belief's age doesn't make it accurate. It makes it familiar. It was just It may have been learned behavior. It may have been a belief that has been handed down to me or handed to me from other situations, me watching other relationships and thinking, okay, well, we just got to believe things will get better. But the age of that belief didn't make it accurate. It just made it familiar. It was a familiar belief, and it caused me to be stuck. So what we're going to do now is look at the stone process. So the stone process is looking at the situation, examining the thoughts, observing it, what is the narrative around it, and evaluate it. So where did this lie begin? Now, if I was honest with myself, this lie began from probably learned experience. So I've learned it from others in my life. I've watched them persevere within a relationship thinking things were going to change, and they never changed. So I adopted a belief system from those around me. So that's what we're looking at. So where did the situation begin? It probably was a learned behavior from other people within relationships around me, and I've adopted the same belief. And then what we do, so the thought, we've obviously observed the thoughts, and then the observation is, did that belief serve me? How did it play out in my life? Well, if I was to observe that belief system, if I looked at the other people who were operating in the same belief system, I would see, no, that didn't work. They didn't get the results that they wanted. The results were sadness, disappointment, being discouraged, being dissatisfied, not living their best life. There was no joy. It actually kept them very stuck and very caged. But the narrative that was in the mind was, okay, this is what we do. We just hang in there, we just hang in there and things will change. And it never changed. So if I was to evaluate, that thought kept me stuck, and the people I observed stuck for a long time. And if I was to evaluate it all, I would say that belief system was a limiting belief. It held me stuck for long periods of time, and I needed to get rid of it in my life. And as I said, I changed it to, in order for things to change, I need to see action, and things will get better. Things get better when there is action, not when there is just hope. There has to be action attached to hope. If this is resonating with you, jump on and say truth. If you are resonating with this type of old belief, or you're resonating and you're ready to start questioning your old belief, type in the comments truth. Okay, so I love this phase. This is when we challenge the beliefs that no longer serve me. So the stone removed is the lie, and then we're laying down a new stone. So the question I wanted to ask yourself now is, okay, what is no longer serving you? What old beliefs? Just quickly take a minute. If you're watching the replay, just pause this, take a minute right now and think about what are the things that are, if you're stuck, if things aren't working in your circumstance, it could be relationship, it could be the kids, it could be work related, it could be your community, it could be things that you're in leadership over, whatever it is, find where the pain is, find where there is something not quite right, and ask yourself these honest questions. What am I believing that is possibly a lie that I need to see the truth? Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to leave you guys do that now. You go ahead and just get radically honest with yourself. Now, we will see you next Monday, and we're going to uncover patterns. So this is piggybacking off this session. Don't miss next session. If you're watching the replays, it may already be up. Just go to the next one. Before you go, though, I have written a workbook bundle. I don't have the copy in front of me right now, but it is fantastic. What I've done is, if you're not ready to either have one-on-one sessions, or you're not ready to jump onto a deeper dive course, I've written a book, but it has 9 workbooks in it. These are the workbooks that I literally walk my clients through. You can grab that off our website, rebuiltmovement.com. look for the workbook bundle. 9 workbooks. There's also other bits and pieces in there. It is full of really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. If you use this discount code 1HC50, you will get 50% off from it. I highly recommend that book. It will give you a lot of insights. You'll be able to sit down in your own time, self-paced, and go through all of the things that we're talking today. And it asks you more questions so you can take a deeper dive. All right, that is it for me today. I have thoroughly enjoyed this session. It is one of my favorite when we're talking about beliefs. I can do so much more, but I want to keep this really short and sharp so that you can get a taste and you can understand. If you've got any questions, message me, comment in the things below. There'll be a link to my website and to that workbook below. Thank you for having me, guys. I will see you next Monday, and we're going to uncover patterns, which will be a great session. All right, you have a great day. Bye-bye.